A former Maricopa County probation officer is raising some serious questions tonight about how a multi-time convicted felon was supervised before a Gilbert woman was found dead.
12 News journalist Sean Rice is digging into the case and asking some tough questions to the probation department. Rightly so, Sean.
Yeah, Mark and Kribe, the two most common ways someone is under the supervision of the Maricopa County Probation Department, it's when a judge sentences them to a stint on probation instead of jail or prison time. The other is when they are released on bail before they stand trial. We're diving deep into this kind of supervision tonight. There are serious questions about how they handled a man who records say was doing very little to follow the rules, but remained in the East Valley community. In early April, 52-year-old Christopher Lochner was taken to jail. Records say he threatened to harm his ex-girlfriend, even shooting rubber bullets at her home. 10 days later, he was out of jail, released on a $5,000 bond. He was given multiple conditions he must follow or risk being sent back to jail.
Was he held accountable? Was he held accountable to the fullest extent of the law?
Questions Beth Golden, a former probation officer here in Maricopa County, is asking after reviewing Lochner's case file. After spending 2 months out in the community, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office was raising the alarm on his behavior. In late June, they said he was failing multiple conditions, having physical contact with the victim, possessing a weapon, and consuming drugs. The prosecutor requested a warrant be issued for his arrest, but Lochner was never placed back in jail.
Seems like a slap on the wrist that we're just going to ask him nicely again to not have contact with the victim when clearly he was not following laws such as you can't possess a weapon, right? You shouldn't be using drugs.
In a pretrial report authored by his probation officer, Lochner is labeled a max on a public safety assessment. But despite allegations that he was ignoring his conditions, the officer recommended he not be put in jail, instead asking the judge to affirm his prior release orders and telling him again to not contact the victim.
If we're demonstrating to people on supervision of any kind that the rules don't apply, especially big ones, what is that telling us, and how does that keep the public and the community safe?
The community, especially Lochner's victim, 55-year-old Cindy Miller, was not safe. 1 month later, Gilbert police say she was found dead inside her home. Police say Lochner and Miller had been together at a hotel before her death, and after a suspected overdose, Lochner is accused of moving her body back to her home, placing her in her bed, and leaving her there. Police say he also drove Miller's car, pawned her jewelry, and told nobody about her death. He's accused of abandoning or concealing a dead body, second-degree burglary, and other felony charges.
Just to say, don't do this again, we'll see you in a month, is not going to cut in these cases. So to me, it's just unacceptable and really tragic.
Gilbert police noted Lochner's ankle monitor had not been working properly since all the way back on July 12th, roughly 1 month before Cindy Miller was found dead. The last place the monitor pinged was at Miller's home, a clear violation of his pretrial release conditions.
I have no words. That's just unacceptable. But I think it's a leadership issue, and this starts with the lack of transparency and the lack of accountability that the probation department is held to. And that's a major issue in the state of Arizona.
And tonight, the probation department is responding to what we found. First, they claimed that Lochner's ankle monitor was functioning properly. They called it a, quote, unintentional error by the Gilbert police officer who wrote in his court records that it wasn't functioning properly for about a month before Miller's death. They did not provide any evidence to prove to us that it was working properly. And when we asked why, they said they were barred from doing so by Arizona's Supreme Court rules. We'll provide their full statement tonight on 12news.com. Mark.
Sean, thanks.